Hi, this is VA, Virginia Shank in Atlanta, Georgia, and this is Vocal Journeys. These are artist interviews that I'm conducting during the COVID pandemic to check in with some of my favorite folks and musicians to see how they're voicing themselves, how are they living during this time, and to share that with you all. Today, I'm so pleased to have with me from Charleston, South Carolina, the incredible musician. He's a trumpeter, he's a vocalist, he's an organist, he plays piano, also records, arranges, and a Grammy Award winning member of the band Ranky Tanky. Please welcome Charlton Singleton. Charlton!
Hey, how are you today? Thank you for having me with this.
Hey. Oh, we're so glad to have you here today on Zoom. How's it hanging down there? What's going on?
Staying healthy, staying safe, and just taking this opportunity as trying as it is in this time, but to just catch up on things, release some new music solo-wise, catch up with people on social media, write some new tunes and things. So just trying to take advantage of this time where we could be sort of deep in the shed, as musicians, kind of.
Absolutely deep in the shed. Yes, I know what you mean, and I love to hear that you're spending your time that way. Maybe let's just start at the very beginning, since hopefully this will introduce new people to you. And
I appreciate it.
Yes, you are. And I'm one of your biggest fans, and I feel fortunate to have done at least one gig with you, and hope that there might be more in our future. But the first time I heard you, I think was on King Street in Charleston at Sermet's upstairs.
Yeah, upstairs. It was called the Mez.
The Mez. Yeah.
But downstairs was Sermet's Corner, which was a fabulous restaurant. Yes.
Yes. Okay. So I think that's the first place I heard you. It may have been at the hotel there also. I might have met you and heard you. What's the hotel that has jazz all the time?
That's the Charleston Grill, which is located in Charleston Place, and that's literally a block and a half down the street. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Well, and some people should know that. But the first time I heard you, which is typical for me and probably a lot of musicians, of like when we're meeting new people and listening, your tone on the trumpet was the first thing I heard, and it speaks volumes. And even though I'm a vocalist and this is called Vocal Journeys, I really mean the bigger picture as a musician, as a human walking this planet. What is it? Things that it comes before you even put the trumpet to your mouth, before you even open your mouth to sing. It's it's the spirit, the joie de vivre, it's just the essence of who you are, and you are all that. So anyway, so enough about me saying my response to you, but tell us, you're from Charleston originally, but give us a little bit of what your music journey has been.
Well, that starts at the age of 3 when I started taking piano lessons formally. Just basically trying to copy what I saw my brother and my sister, my big sister, my big brother were doing, who are 10 years and 7 years older than I am, respectively. And so when our teacher would come to our house and give them a lesson for 30 minutes apiece, I figured I had to be in on it too. And so I would run in and out of the room, and finally my father stopped me from doing this because I was basically bothering him. And he made a deal with me and said, you can sit at the back of the room and just watch and observe, and just as long as you don't make any noise or anything. And that's really all I wanted to do, is just be in the same room with my big sister and my big brother. But when you're 3 years old, and everybody knows this, if you've ever been around a toddler, they copy everything that they see and hear adults do. And so when my sister and brother were taking these lessons and I was sitting at the back of the room, I was just all ears and all in tune. And if I saw them move their hand to this part of the keyboard, I was moving my hand over there. And if they did something over here, I did it over there. And when that full hour was done, I would jump up on the piano and try to remember everything and do everything that I saw. And one day I picked out a song that I heard them doing. And my parents asked the teacher if I was too young to start. And he said, no, we can give them like 10 or 15-minute lessons. That's about the attention span. So it started with that. And then it went to, you know, being in the string orchestra in elementary school, and then eventually in band, and eventually high school band, and going to college and getting a degree from South Carolina State University. That's all of the sort of formal education side. Then there's the other side of just listening to a wide variety of artists, jazz artists like my favorite, Harry Sweets Edison on trumpet, or Dizzy Gillespie, of course, Louis Armstrong, Clifford Brown, Lee Morgan. You know, those are the ones, you know, in my headphones as I was bopping along with my Walkman in college. And then pop artists and gospel artists too. So it's just a big gumbo of music for me. But actually, prior to going to college, and I forget this little part of it, I really didn't start thinking about the trumpet seriously until maybe I was a senior in high school. Up until that point, I thought I was going to be a classical pianist. And so I was studying that way. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I did such a similar journey. I'm the youngest in my family too. I was more like 5 when I would come in and imitate my sisters. And when I went to music school, it was piano, classical piano. Voice was secondary, dance was third. But it wasn't until later. You know, it's funny how these things evolve, but it's a whole music journey, right?
Right.
Yeah,
Definitely.
And I went over to the jazz department and, you know, do piano and then sing with combos, and that's kind of how I went. So, senior in high school, you settled in on trumpet.
That's when I knew that I was going to. I think I really wanted to be a band director, a middle school or a high school band director. And up until that point, it was more, piano was first, trumpet was second. And then actually, unfortunately, my piano teacher passed away. And I kind of got into this mentality of there's no one else that's going to be able to, you know, teach me or keep me focused like that. And so I sort of flipped them, and trumpeting became the thing. And so when I went to college, I majored actually in education, concentrating on the trumpet more, all the way up until the last year of undergrad. And that's when I switched to performance.
Wow. That's so amazing. And so then after college, you came back to Charleston?
Yes. After college, I came back home and actually joined up with some guys, and we put together a ska band. And
I love it. Of course you did.
Of course I did.
Yes.
I put together a ska band, and we tried to make it. This was in the mid to late 90s, and we tried to, you know, tour all over the Southeast and up and down the East Coast, and just kind of do it. It was a lot different, you know. The music business was a lot different back then.
Right.
But we, you know, grassroots, you know, get in the van, drive from city to city, and do it that way. But it didn't work out. But during that time, when I came home, that is when I met 2 of my best friends in the world, being bassist Kevin Hamilton and drummer Quentin Baxter. Yep. And the 3 of us immediately hit it off. And in between going out on the road with this ska band that I had, when I came home, it was all about the three of us, and we had a little trio that we would play around town together. Quentin was just starting to grow his dreadlocks, and Kevin was bald like me, so we called ourselves Two Heads and a Dread.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
And,
Well,
and
gosh.
eventually Clay Ross was a guitarist in town as well at the college of Charleston with Kevin and Quentin, and the four of us put together this band called the Gradual Lean, and we would play at Mezzanine, it's the same bar, just a short name later on. But the four of us would play, and we did that for about 2 or 3 years, and Clay moved, and I'm telling this story because it all comes back around.
Yes, it is. That's right.
About 3 years later, when the four of us get back together, and then we bring Kiana in, and we name ourselves Ranky Tanky, and the rest is history.
The rest is history. Okay, but I know that history, and you know that history. But thank you for sharing, that journey, because people forget that you don't just get to a Grammy award winning situation overnight. You have worked it, and so let's be sure that folks know that Ranky Tanky, is it your second album that won the Grammy?
Correct. We have two. We have the self-titled one, which was released in October of 2017. And then we have Good Time, the Grammy Award winning one, that was released in July of last year, of 2019.
Yeah, and so you just won a Grammy.
It's not even a year old.
I know it. It's so fantastic. And so for those folks who don't know what Gullah culture is, can you give us just kind of a brief synopsis and how that, you've got this classical background, you've got your jazz background, you've got your ska background, so many influences as we are as musicians. We pick up everything. But tell us more about the Gullah influence and Ranky Tanky.
Okay, so when you talk about the Gullah Geechee corridor, let's start there. The Gullah Geechee corridor is a group of little islands that sit just off of the mainland of the United States that stretch from the southern part of North Carolina around Wilmington, and it goes down the coast of South Carolina, down the coast of Georgia, and to the top of Florida. And on these little islands that were only reachable by boat, you had all of these former West African slaves that lived on these islands, and they maintained a whole lot of things like the way that they prepared food, the way that they interacted with each other, the way that they worshiped, how they entertained themselves. They developed their own language, which we affectionately call, Gullah, or some people say Geechee. But this is starting way long time ago. And when I say that, I say that to preface the fact that Gullah is an informant to so many genres of music that when you think about it, or when you hear it in its truest form, and you match it up with jazz, or you match it up with folk or gospel or spirituals or anything, it makes so much sense. And so in Ranky Tanky, what we do is we have, just because of the nature of where we live in this Gullah region, we take Gullah songs, poems, kids' games even, and we sort of give them a contemporary spin on it. Because in the truest form of it, you basically just had someone singing, or a group of people singing, hand claps and stomping on their feet. But with Ranky Tanky, because I'm the trumpet player, we have an electric guitarist, we have a bass player, and we have a drum set. That definitely gives it that sort of contemporary feel already, just with the instrumentation. And then mixed with that is everyone's personality of studying music from this region or this region or this background or this background. And so you blend all of those together with that Gullah base, you know, of just the foundation of the Gullah sound, and that's how you get Ranky Tanky.
Yeah, that's so amazing. And of course, that synergy with so many of you, you know, as friends and musicians playing together for so long in different situations. And, you know, I think I just saw you at the Blue Note in New York, maybe last
Yeah,
fall.
that was the
So
last time.
great. And, you know, because I've known you for a long time, and just
Mhm.
to really hear you all in that situation, and where it is just, it's just come together so beautifully. And I really love when music, you know, that you take so many different elements and you're making yet a new thing. It's historical and it's roots music, but it's your own thing. It's fantastic, really fantastic. So I just applaud you all. Will there be a new recording coming out soon?
Well, we're definitely talking about it and sort of gathering some material.
Sure.
But we have to remember also, like I said, this recording isn't even a year old yet.
I know. I know we're here more. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
but
know.
we have been talking. I mean, you've got to keep going, you know, thinking forward and everything. But we're still trying to ride this one out, and it looks like it'll be prolonged a little bit because
Well,
right at the beginning of all of this was right when we were starting to go on tour with this, you know, new Grammy in our hand, you know, whatever. So,
I know. But look, you're still going to have Grammy in hand forever. That
oh
doesn't go.
yes, definitely.
But so here we are. The pandemic is happening. This is being recorded on Friday, May 22nd, I think it is. Um,
Yes,
so your tour schedule that was for the summer, all gone under?
gone.
Yeah, yeah.
Gone. We had pretty full April that was planned, and all of that, of course, was wiped out. And we had some things going into June, and at the back end of June, a lot of those gigs are being rescheduled because you know, people are still just in the dark about how things are going to look with our business. And you know, just going to play a gig, you're talking about, you know, a few hundred or hopefully 1,000 people or so that are in a big room all together packed in. Or during the summer, we've played a lot of festivals where you have thousands of people in front of us, you know, standing outside in a huge pack. So that sort of derailed concerts and things of that sort.
Right.
There are a couple of gigs that are still on the schedule for later in the fall and into the winter for the rest of this year. And technically, they have not been canceled yet,
Right.
but it's just looking highly unlikely. So hopefully, when we get to 2021, there's a lot of things coming back in rescheduled for 2021 as well. So.
Sure. Of course. And people can, you know, look at the Ranky Tanky website or your website to see what's happening and get those updates. And, you know, there's nothing like jazz musicians, though, to be the best of improvisers, to improvise with life and creativity and that resilient spirit. The jazz has it all going on. I mean,
Right. Yeah.
yes. So how, you know, look, you do all these other things. You've got Ranky Tanky. You're the artist in residence emeritus at the Gaillard Center. Am I pronouncing that correctly?
Gilliard.
Gilliard, you know, which is there in Charleston. You do a summer youth jazz camp that you know, I know you teach a lot. You've got a church gig. You've got your own solo career. So what's happening right now, Charlton?
Right now, I am in the process of releasing a new contemporary jazz EP. Prior to, yeah, thank you. Prior to 2020, I put this thing in my head that I was going to just really go crazy, and I was going to release 4 different recordings in 2020. I was going to release a contemporary jazz album, a traditional jazz album, a gospel album, and a holiday album. And
you do it. That's the thing, folks. Charlton has the chops for all of this, and they will be done well.
And so I actually, about August of 2019, between August and December, between going out on the road and being home, I actually managed to record 2 of those albums.
Wow.
So the contemporary one is slowly being released. I released a single called Sea Breeze at the end of April.
Okay.
Then there is another single called Sunrise, and it's actually released today, May 22nd, you know. And then the end of June, I think it's the 26th. And actually, you'll be the first one that I've told this. I haven't told anyone else.
Heard it here. Right. Okay.
Yeah. Spill the beans. So June 26th, I think that's a Friday, the last Friday of June. But the full release will be out. And the full release will have 4 instrumental contemporary jazz songs and 4 vocal tunes on there as well. All original.
All original. Oh,
All
that's great. Yeah. Well, I really love hearing that you set that goal for yourself last year and that you're still fulfilling it. And that's one of the things I know about your spirit and personality is that your output is unbelievable. I mean, you have so much energy and charisma and the chops behind it. And you're, like you've got your hand in all these different things, and I don't know how you juggle them all. And I even see you on Facebook, and you've got like 5 or 6 dogs. Like I don't know. That just feels
the furry singers, they're around here someplace.
Yes, yeah. Oh. Well, listen, Charlton. We will put in the byline here how to get in touch with you, but charltonsingleton.com, rankytanky.com.
Correct.
Anything else you want to tell us or share before we sign off?
Just everybody stick with it, and be kind to one another. You know what? I thought about it as we were chatting a little bit before. And you were asking me if I wanted to play something. I can play something really quick. You can't really see.
Awesome.
You can hear it though. Can you hear it?
I can. Take it away.
I'll do a song that I've been sort of singing a lot recently. It's Perfect. Just He's got the whole world in his hands. All right. He's got the whole world in his hands. 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 He's got you and me, brother, in his hands. He's got you and me, sister, in his hands. He's got everybody here in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands. He's got the sun and the moon in his hands. He's got the sun and the moon in his hands. He's got the sun and the moon in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands. He's got the wind and the rain in his hands. He's got the wind and the rain in his hands. He's got the wind and the rain in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands. He's got the little bitty babies in his hands. He's got the little bitty baby in his hands. He's got everybody here in his hands. He's
awesome. He's got the whole world in his hands, and I've got Charlton Singleton here from Charleston, South Carolina. Want you all to check out his music, and you will be so glad that you did. charltonsingleton.com, rankytanky.com, and you'll find out all the many fingers that he has his hands. Charlton has his hands in music. I'm VA Virginia Shank, and this is Vocal Journeys. Thanks so much, Charlton. Be well, be safe, and sing on.
Thank you. Thank you. Be well, be safe, sing on yourself. Mwah.